Hello everybody and welcome back. This is F1 TS Hub. It's another Friday night and here we are in Japan for round 16 of the Season 10 Championship. Alongside me is Jono. Welcome Jono.
Thank you Nick. Evening everyone.
And it looks a little bit cloudy above, but this is a short qualifying session. This is the Podium tier and a great group of guys, Jono, who just as Cobblers rejoins the session. We've got 17 of them tonight, and they're about to hit this Suzuka track, one of the most famous and iconic on the Formula 1 calendar.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a favourite among most of the drivers. It's a proper driver's circuit, and I think everybody will be relishing getting out there and seeing what they can do in qualifying. I also think it's one of the most exciting qualifying sessions of the season. On low fuel, the cars feel absolutely incredible around here, especially these new 2017 cars. Through Sector 1, especially as high-speed S's, you can absolutely attack with the high downforce. And yeah, I'm sure we've got a great session and race ahead of us.
And not only that, Johnny, we've got a championship. This is the final 5 races of this championship in Season 10, and we are here in Suzuka to kick it all off in what is a very closely contested battle at the top between possibly 4 or 5 drivers in the Drivers' Championship, and you know, Williams are chasing down Sauber for the top spot in the Constructors as well. And Dweller, one of the championship contenders in Sauber and the Drivers, isn't here tonight. Neither is Lemaine, who is challenging for the Drivers. So it's all to play for, and it seems like today's a big day for Williams.
Yeah, absolutely, big day for Williams. Big day for all the top guys in the championship as well, and everyone's right the field. But it looks like we've got a 3-point gap between Tecmo Thriller and Kian at the top of the championship, and I think 4 drivers within 1 race win of the championship lead. So it all to play for, and everyone will be out there trying to hook up a lap and to get everything they can out of this weekend, with only obviously a few rounds remaining once we leave Suzuka.
Can't believe how quickly this season's gone, and I'm sure a lot of these drivers will be focusing on the final 5 races rather than what's happened before them. But we've got everyone out on the super soft tyre except for Emphatic, who's currently on the soft tyre. So we'll see exactly how that plays out. We have the supers, the softs and the mediums available, I believe, this race.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. And yeah, we're delighted to see obviously everyone probably by the end of the session going out on the super soft tyre, as we've got a Cyber in the gravel by the look of it at the second Degner turn there. I've just seen Kian go through by him, and hopefully he's escaped without any damage.
There was a Ferrari facing the wrong way. He's now been disqualified from the session for trying to get back going the right way. That is Matt Yadadi, so he will take no further part in this qualifying session, and that's going to be a huge disappointment for him, Jono. Qualifying is important around here. It isn't a track which is easy to overtake.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the more tricky to overtake on the calendar. You sort of think there'll be plenty of chances, but as in real life, it can be tricky. Obviously, you've got the first sector, which is very much follow the leader through the S's unless you see a mistake from a driver. So your first chance for a real overtake probably comes into the hairpin, and again, maybe into spoon curve, and then into the final chicane.
He spun it in the S's, so just as you were talking about him, Jono, he got on the grass a little bit too much, pushed the car, it unsettled it, and before you know it, he was facing the wrong way, and he spun it again in the barrier. So just shows you the track here, Jono, is so narrow compared to where in Malaysia last time out. And where it's so narrow, you can get on the grass. There's grass pretty much either side of the track all the way through, and the gravel sometimes a little bit further beyond the grass. So it's one of those tracks, if you make a mistake, you're really going to pay here.
It is indeed. It's a proper old-style circuit. I think the purists say this is how all the F1 circuits should be. As we can see from Razor, it punishes your errors. So you want to push as close to the limit as you can, but you haven't got that safety net as you have at other circuits of just running off onto tarmac if you run wide. As you say, grass lines the circuit, so you can't afford to touch it anywhere around the lap, and it's a 3.6 mile lap here, I believe. So reasonably long lap, and 18 corners, so hooking up all 18 is definitely a challenge for all of our drivers.
And speaking of challenge, look who's binned it. Gazza in the Red Bull has binned it. Is that 130R? I think he's binned it. And now we've got another driver to bin it. Stifler. So Stifler's been in his Renault in the first sector just after the first corner. So perhaps he's got on the gravel, or the grass, I should say, on the outside, spun it to the inside barrier. That's his race over. So we've already got three drivers out of this, three drivers out of this session, and we've only got we're only about halfway through.
Yeah, it's catching drivers out early, that's for sure, before they've got their eye in on their first flying lap. As you say, we're already seeing drivers bin it and already getting caught out, as Techno Thriller takes a provisional pole position so far by the look of it on a 128.812.
Yeah, definitely Kean 3/10 further behind, currently sitting in the pits. The Bookster just under half a second behind. Then you've got Kev sitting in 4th. So it's the usual suspects up in the top 4 at the moment. Ols is doing well in 5th position. And I know himself and also his teammate Greenfin fancy a good result here in Japan. So we'll see exactly what they can do come the race. But we are hearing, Jonah, that there is rain for the start of this race. So surely, if that is the case, you'll want to be qualifying on the quickest tyre and trying to take advantage of that in a sense.
Yeah, definitely. You've got nothing to lose. You just stick on the fastest tyre and go for it. If everyone's going to be starting the race on probably, well, we'll resume inters or full wet, depending on how wet it is. But that will definitely make for a spicy opening couple of corners as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely. Jonas just riding on board with him. Looks pretty tidy there as he comes under the bridge and up to the hairpin. And we were just talking about this off air, how tricky this hairpin is to get it right, to get the car slowed down and turned in to hit your apex at the same time.
Yeah, you sort of think of the high-speed corners and being where all the time is to gain on this track, but the hairpin is certainly for me one of the trickiest corners. You're trying to brake whilst turning right, and then brake heavily for then a left-hand hairpin. So it's all important to try and sweep wide into the entry to the hairpin if you can, so you can brake in a straight line as much as possible. As we all know, brake are a no-go, so yeah, straightening the car up is going to be crucial, especially in the wet conditions. I think we could see some lockups for sure into the hairpin.
Yeah, definitely. We're just riding on board with Razor, who's got a great inter-team battle going on with Jonas. I know we've spoken previous streams about this, and they're both determined to finish the season ahead of each other, so that's another battle to keep an eye on as we head into the closing stages of this season. And Jonah, 4 minutes left of the session. We're going to see these drivers come out perhaps for one final run, and Techno Thriller currently sitting at the top there with a 28.8, which is a pretty good time for round here, and it looks like it's going to be between him, Kean and the Bookster for pole position on this one.
Yeah, it does. They've got a bit of a gap from Kevin 4th at the moment, but he's still only a few tenths back, and we've got all the taking Techno out of the equation, looking down from Kean down to Ols. There's not much between them, so you can definitely see some switching of positions as they go on to their final laps when they'll be pushing all out. They've got bankers in, especially those top drivers. They've got the banker lap in there, so they can go all out now on the second lap and yeah, try and get everything out of the car and see if they can move up the grid.
Yeah, Emphatic's currently sitting in 10th place, by the way. He's the only driver on the soft tyre. He almost spun it on the exit of that corner. He's currently in lean. I don't know, he's going to want to get back to the pits pretty quickly if he plans to come out again, because it's just over 3 minutes left of the session and we've still got a number of drivers in the pits, and we know how long it takes to come in, get those tyre blankets on, get rolled back into the garage and get back out again. So it'll be interesting to see whether he's able to do that or whether he's left it too late, but he's coming in the pits anyway, so we'll see exactly what he's able to do. Jamie's out on track, by the way, so he's going very slowly, obviously trying to create a bit of gap, which around here, John, is really important, because you don't want to be following another car through some of the high speed corners, because it will just unsettle your car and affect your corner entry so much. And in fact, Jamie's out of fuel, so that's why he's going slowly, and I'm guessing that'll be his session over and he won't be able to take any further part because he won't have enough time. But there's plenty of drivers who will do. Just over 2 minutes left of the session.
Yeah, ticking down, and yeah, Jamie hasn't quite timed things right there by the look of it, and you want to be out on track really towards the end of the session. You never know what the grip levels will be. It could well be higher at the end, and so you'd always prefer to be out on track with the option to go quicker at the end if you need it, even if it's a matter of cruising around, just seeing what other drivers do. But yeah, his session's over by the look of it, as other drivers now set out onto track to go for just one more flying lap by the look of it, with only 1 minute and 46 remaining in the session.
Yeah, also just crossed the line. He's on max fuel, and he's going to be, as Emphatic's retired, so he's done in the pit lane. Yep, and yeah, green. What was I saying? Ols or Greenfin? Ols, I think I was commenting on. Yes, he's crossed the line just with enough time, so he can do 2 laps. Just as I speak to him, oh, he saved that one. He'll want to get that fuel back down to lean, but I don't know if he'll have enough to do another lap. But that is exactly how
like
not to do. Yeah, exactly how he's in the gravel now, so and he's about to be facing the wrong way if he's not careful. But here we go, the Bookster is just starting his lap, looking nice and tidy up the hill as they head towards the double right-hander. And remind me, Jono, what's this one called?
This is the Degner Curve.
Degner Curve, so it's one of the corners that just invites you to carry so much speed, but can sometimes punish you if you try and push that a little bit too far. But it all looked tidy there for the Bookster, and the rear end looks a little bit lively on exit from the hairpin, but other than that, it's looking a clean lap. Kian, he's just started the first corner, so he's on a quick one. Techno Thriller, meanwhile, he's already on. He's the furthest one, so we're right on board with him. He's coming down to the hairpin now. He's going to be the first person of the top 3 to complete his final flying lap. Will he time this so he can set just one more? He might have timed this brilliantly. He has indeed. So he's going to cross the line. He's slower on that lap, but he's got another chance at it.
Yeah, he's gone for 2 flying laps at the end of the session, which is could well prove the way to go. As the Bookster just about to cross the line, so we'll see if he can improve from provisional 3rd position, and he does. He moves up to 2nd, and just behind Techno Thriller as well there on a 28.863.
Brilliant lap, half a tenth of a second. It's so close between these guys, not just in the standings, but this second half of the season they've all seemed to up their pace a little bit, and it's been a very tightly contested final third of the season, and I'm sure that's going to continue for these last 5 races. It all kicks off here in Japan. Kian's the next driver to cross the line of those top 3. What can Kev do? He's also on track. He's only 7/10 of a second off pole. Looks pretty tidy on the exit onto the long back straight. Ols is also on a quick lap, so he is able to complete one. What's Kian going to do? Exits the final corner, comes around, keeps it tight. DRS is open, takes pole position by just under 1/10 of a second. Is Techno Thriller going to be able to respond to that?
Yeah, interesting to see. He's in the final sector now, Techno Thriller. He's approaching the final few corners, so we'll see what he can do. He'll be determined to get that pole position back. He's down, so yeah,
6/10 of a second as well.
It's looking like it won't be enough, and yeah, looks like he might have to set the 2nd place here.
This is going to be close, but it's not going to be enough. He wasn't able to improve, so that's him done and dusted. Ols is also, he's on lean. We've got Jamie in 6th, as we mentioned. He didn't time it correctly. Razor's in 7th place, so he's out qualified his teammate for today's race. Stifler, of course, binned it, but he's ahead of his teammate. They're 8th and 9th. We've got Greenfin Maverick who have come into the pits, so that's everyone done and dusted. That's our that is our qualifying for round 16 here in Japan, Suzuka, and it's setting up for a fantastically close Japanese Grand Prix with what we're hearing, a little bit of rain.
Yeah, that's going to definitely be an exciting start to the race. I think the drivers will be pretty nervous about it. I know from personal experience here, this is one of the trickiest tracks, I think, to drive in the wet. There's so many high-speed corners, and suddenly you go from having that amazing downforce and turn-in to just not knowing where the grip is. And I think on the opening sector of the lap, especially for the whole of the couple of opening laps of the race, it's going to be a matter of just feeling out the grip. And we know what can happen if you go off circuit. We've already seen from several drivers. So I think those who adapt to the conditions and don't make any mistakes early on will reap the rewards, and yeah, be definitely an exciting beginning.
Yeah, so we'll wait for this timer to count down, and then we'll get the race underway shortly enough. Hello to everyone watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're getting closer to that 100 as we only started our channel a few months ago in late 2017, so we're getting close to the 100 mark. So we appreciate all the subscribes, all the thumbs up, so make sure you hit that as well if you like the races. And Jono, it's going to be difficult here for some of these guys to move forward if they're planning to on the first lap. What's your advice to some of these guys?
It's, I think you've got to play it by ear, especially if the conditions are a bit dodgy. I think you just got to set off and just make sure you get the car around the opening few laps of the race in one piece. That's going to be absolutely crucial. I think if you can do that, you will move up positions. People will make mistakes around you, and yeah, keeping it clean and just taking the opportunities when they come. It'll be interesting to see what sort of downforce levels drivers are running, whether they've taken the wet into account at all. I think low downforce is pretty important for trying to make overtakes, but it does hurt you in the opening sector of the lap especially. So yeah, we could see a range of different, you know, straight line speeds, and some drivers making overtakes relatively easily, while others might struggle. But yeah, we'll see in a few moments' time when the race gets underway.
Speaking of getting underway, confirmation of the rain. Then you can see it coming down in the pit lane, and that looks to me like might force everyone. Yeah, it looks like it's forcing everyone to start on the intermediate tyre. So we'll run through the grid during this formation lap. We'll also get confirmation that everyone is starting on those intermediates, as we're currently just waiting for everyone to choose their strategy, choose their fuel. A nervous few moments on the grid this is going to be, but at least they have the formation lap to kind of feel out exactly where the track's wet and where it's perhaps you can push a little bit more. But yeah, it's going to be difficult for these guys, and I think, as you said, Jono, keeping it clean in that first lap is going to be key here to a strong result. But let's get this formation lap underway. We'll get our spectator menu set up, and we can quickly, confirmation. Everyone is starting on the intermediate tyres, so as we suspected, and we will go through the grid as we already see Kian drifting through turn 1. So he's obviously going to test the limits on this formation lap. Nothing to lose, you can't damage the car. But Kian, pole position. Techno Thriller starts alongside him, very close between those two. The Bookster in third, he wasn't far off, so he'll be there throughout the race. Kev's in fourth, Ols is in fifth. That's a good position for him to qualify. That's one of his best qualifying positions, if not his best of the season, so well done to him. Jamie's in sixth. That's a good result for him, considering he only had one shot at it. Razor's in seventh. Stifler binned it, but he got eighth. His teammate is in ninth, so they'll need to keep it clean on the first lap for sure. Emphatic, he qualified on the softs, hasn't paid to its advantage as he comes under the bridge now, and he'll be starting in 10th. Kian's run off, so we saw Kian was struggling, but this is a formation lap, so no harm done. Greenfin in 11th, Maverick in 12th, Jonas in 13th, Lukey in 14th. We did an exclusive with him, our current and defending Drivers World Champion from Season 9, and if you haven't already, make sure you head over to www.f1tshub.com and check out the interview. It was definitely one of my favourite of the season so far. Gaz is in 15th, Matt's in 17th, and Cobblers, who we know struggles with connection, is currently starting at the back in 17th place. But yeah, Kian seems to be struggling on this formation lap a little bit from what you've seen.
Yeah, he has been drifting it around a bit and has run off circuit as well. Obviously no harm done in the formation lap, and it is a good opportunity. You've got no harm but to push over the limits, if anything, to at least you know where you stand. And yeah, hopefully he's now found where the limit is for the start of the race as the drivers make their way to the grid. Yeah,
so we'll wait for everyone to line up before we'll get the countdown underway, and make sure you head over to Twitter, everyone. Follow us at F1TSHub. Lots of exciting news coming there soon, I'm sure. And we'll be here at 9 o'clock tonight for the Pinnacle Tier, same race. 20 different drivers though. But we've got a championship contending race here in Japan for these Podium boys to get out the way first. Kian starts on pole position, his two main rivals behind him. Lemaine and Dweller, the other two, not racing today. What's going to happen? We head into turn 1 very shortly. The 5 lights are on and they're off. Here we go. It's looks like a good start from Techno Thriller. It looks like he's possibly got the jump on Kian already, and as they head down. Kev's there. Kev's out of contact. He's touched his teammate. He's touched the Haas. Kev's retired from the session. There's a Sauber off as well, so that's Techno Thriller. The Bookster now leads. Jamie's up to second. Sifler's up to third. Razor's up to fourth. Evertick's up to fifth. Cobblers is up 11 positions, up to sixth. 5 second stop and go penalty for Matt, your daddy. There's absolute chaos here. I'm not sure if this is yellow flags or what's going on. Virtual safety car. That's why we're seeing all these cars bunched up, Jono. What happened there?
It was chaos there. As you mentioned, the two Williams came together. Techno Thriller got a good launch, got down the inside of Kian. Kian seemed to get a bad launch and get a lot of wheel spin by the look of it, all bogged down. I couldn't quite tell which, but he got swallowed up, and the Williams just made contact, and it just speared them one way and the other, and everyone else got caught up in that as well, I think. Thriller looked to be clear ahead into turn 1, so I'm not sure if he had his own accident running wide in the braking point there. And then it was just chaos behind, and the virtual safety car seemed to cause drivers to be running into the back of each other and not knowing how quickly they should go. And yeah, there was
come in now
way
as well.
too much for us to way too much for us to keep an eye on there. That was yeah, the opposite of a clean start that we were on about drivers would be looking to have.
Well, there you go. Jamie's under attack now from Stifler. This is going to be close. Not the best place to try and sling one down the inside, but Stifler and Jamie fighting, squabbling for position. This is going to help Razor. He's now coming to attack these guys for the podium places. Techno Thriller and Kian down the phone. They both do have wing damage. I've been riding on board with them as we're seeing contact there between the Toro Rosso Cobblers and Razor. So lots of wheel banging, front wing pieces going across the circuit in this opening lap, and we've got more contact behind. There's Gaza there. Looks like it's made this contact with Renault, which has just gone off track. You've got Lukey's coming, almost being forced into the pits by trying to go down the inside of Gaza, who was coming into the pits anyway. So absolute carnage here as we're seeing the two Ferraris now overtake on the pit straight, and everyone in the top 5 will absolutely be laughing.
Yeah, absolutely. 5 drivers in the pits at the end of lap 1, and shout out to Jamie in 2nd position at the moment. He managed to avoid all the carnage there. Pretty decent qualifying from him as well, and he finds himself in 2nd position. And yeah, excellent start for him. He'll be absolutely chuffed with how things went there. But chaos behind him, and yeah, the two Williams in particular will be. We're just talking about their Constructors' Championship and Drivers' Championship hopes, and it took a big dent there when the two cars came together. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's you know, I said before this race, this was a big day for Williams, a big day for their constructors and championship drivers for Kian, and it seems to have imploded before we even got to the first corner there. So they'll be regretting this day. Hopefully, not for the rest of their F1 TS Hub. But Stifler had to get on the grass a little bit there. Jamie's been passed by 2 drivers in that move, but that was taking the risk at its limit. Cobblers is falling further down the order. What's happened there? He's left the session, so more connection issues for the Toro Rosso driver, as we're seeing Ols now just ahead of Kian, but behind Gaza. Sorry, just ahead of Gaza, but behind Kian. So Kian already up to 11th place. Techno Thriller already up to 8th position. So Kian will want to pick his way through the order as Techno Thriller now goes wide. No harm done from that one, but yeah, these conditions, the track looks so greasy. It's almost like it's not raining enough for these inters to make them comfortable.
Yeah, it looks so slippery. Drivers just drifting around the corners, and Stifler runs wide in turn 1, so Rayhart will have a chance at going for a move here, but he doesn't manage to do it. He slots back in behind. But this will be a real test of the championship contenders' mettle here as well. As we say, Techno in 8th and Kian in 11th. So yeah, how will they make their way through the field in these tricky conditions at a track that we said isn't that easy to take on as well? Shout out for Rayhart as well, by the way, being in 3rd position. We know he's pretty good in these wet conditions, and representing Honda at their home circuit as well. So yeah, he'll be pretty pleased to be in podium positions at the moment.
I do believe Razor has got one of his career podiums here at Suzuka, Japan. I believe we both finished on the podium in one of the seasons, either 4 or 5. But he's stuck behind Stifler at the moment, but still in a good position. Techno Thriller moves up, Greenfin moves down 1, so it's been a good day for Haas on Greenfin's side of the garage, but a miserable start to the race for Ols, who's down in 13th now with what looked to be such promising pace in qualifying. Kian, meanwhile, has a massive gap in front of him. 25 seconds
Techno
it's showing.
side by side.
Techno Thriller, he's getting on with the job.
Yeah.
Getting on with the job here. He isn't waiting around, wasting any time, and perhaps that's a sign of a championship drive. But Boogster leading by 5 seconds at the moment. You can argue with his start as well.
Yeah, you'll be chuffed as well. As you say, a shame for Ols there after a great qualifying session. I think he just got caught up, probably due to no fault of his own in that all that contact in the opening lap.
Oh, someone's off. Emphatic.
Yeah, Emphatic it is. So yeah, he's not enjoying these conditions either. Moves down to 6th position. and Techno up to 5th now. So we were just saying about how would he make his way through the field. He's already gained just 2 or 3 positions since I said that, and yeah, back into 5th position. So Kian now left with all the work to do, currently down in 11th, and yeah, obviously the Bookster though, another championship contender in the lead at the moment. So yeah, he's looking he'll be the happiest at the moment out of those battling for the championship.
Yeah, definitely, and just seeing a Ferrari running wide there, I think that was Matt Yadani. Seems to be a little bit of lag on the stream as well, so I'm not sure whether the drivers are experiencing that. But as we're seeing Green Finn get on the curb a little bit there, he catches the slide, so well done to him as he makes his way through the S's for only lap 4 of 27, so we haven't got that far into this race. But Jonas sets the fastest lap, so he's obviously feeling comfortable on these tyres. And let's have a quick look, John, and see exactly who's come into the pit as Jonas now goes off at turn 1. And it's so hard to get back onto the track there when you go wide. So from 10th down to 16th, everyone has come into the pits. Kev's our only retiree so far in today's race, and Cobblers has made 2 stops, not just 1. So Gaz is also in for a new front wing, a new set of boots, so that'll be his 2nd stop of the day. But Kian seems to, I don't know how Kian came out with such a large gap to the rest of the field, whereas Techno Thriller seemed to just get on with it. I'm not sure what happened. They probably both changed their wing when they came in, but Kian seemed to got the poor luck of that one, that's for sure.
Yeah, Kian. Well, we were so worried about what might happen in turn 1, and in the end, the drivers and the Williams drivers didn't even get down to turn 1 before it all kicked off there. We mentioned this is a narrow circuit, and so it proved to be. There just wasn't room for 2 or 3 wide, or whatever it was there, off the line. And once Kieran got swallowed up by the other drivers, there was just no effort to go, and they all came together. I think if it was on a more modern circuit, maybe even Malaysia or something like that, then that may well not have happened. But yeah, these racetracks certainly punish you for trying to go side by side.
So by the looks of it, obviously Jonathan, that obviously pit stop graphic, Techno didn't come into the pit stop, so I'm just riding on board with him. He does still have left end plate damage, so he's driving that Sauber with a damaged front wing, which in these conditions around this track I imagine is awful. Understeer, we know that's your least favourite thing.
Yeah, absolutely, I hate understeer.
Alright, so that is why Techno Thriller is so far ahead of Kian at this stage. But Green Finn, meanwhile, is now on the back of Spider, who seems to be falling further back after a good opening couple of laps. Bookster leads by almost 6 seconds now over Stifler, who's settled into 2nd place, ahead of Razor in 3rd. Jamie looks to have settled into 4th, but Techno Thriller is closing that gap with that damaged wing, so it shows you the pace that the Sauber driver and current championship leader does have today.
Yeah, he's definitely got the pace, and I think we'll definitely see him move forward as the race goes on. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. I'm not sure quite what's going on there, but yeah, the drivers do look to be settling into, as Ols has left the session by the look of it. But yeah, the drivers do look to be settling into a bit of a rhythm now. They're getting used to the conditions and how hard they can push. It's going to be so tentative to the high-speed corners compared with what we just watched in qualifying, where they were just absolutely attacking. They just had to lift off so early and just gingerly tip the car in. It's so tricky to drive, and as we get a big lock up there from Greenfin as well into the final chicane. These are such tricky conditions, and on a proper driver circuit as well, as we were saying before, where you just relish thrashing the car. They're just have to do completely opposite at the moment and just gingerly make their way round. And yeah, they'll all be open, I think, for the dry weather to come sooner rather than later.
Yeah, definitely. Ols is back in the session, just riding on board with the Haas, seeing if he can get back in his car. He should be able to, as Kian sets the fastest lap of the race, so he's also saying, hey, don't forget about me, I got some pace today. Currently down in 10th position, and he's closing that gap on Lukey. He was 19 seconds a few laps ago, now it's down to 11, so just shows you the pace that he does have. Ols hasn't got back in his car yet, it's still ghosting, so perhaps we get in that same glitch that other drivers have experienced so far this season, where they aren't in fact able to get in. Maverick is on the grass doing some perhaps grass cutting through to come under the bridge there, so he's back safely on track and currently in last position, but yeah, doing a different different line to what we'd normally expect, as we're seeing Green Fin closing that gap on Spider Atlas mentioned, Jono, and the rain doesn't seem to have changed for me. From my opinion, it looks exactly the same as how it was when we started this race.
Yeah, I'd say it does as well. Pretty consistent conditions, which is what you want. You can then adapt to them and yeah, and settle into putting in the laps. As it looks like Stifler's perhaps closing down the leaders very slightly, or averaging out around 5.5 seconds at the moment. I'm on board with the Boogster. He's just he's keeping it clean and tidy. He's got that bit of a buffer, so there's no need for him to push too hard. He's just making sure he hits his apexes and keeps the car pointing in the right direction, limiting the wheel spin on the exit of the corners. I can see pretty well, and yeah, he's got that little buffer, as I say, which is what you want in these conditions. You can just relax a bit and just focus on your driving rather than looking in the mirror and wondering how to defend from the car behind.
Yeah, yellow flags in sector 3. Kian has got Lukey, so Lukey has wing damage. Perhaps he'll come in. Yeah, he is coming into the pit. So Lukey got wing damage. Perhaps he made a mistake there. Kian is up a position now, currently in 9th, and I'm sure he'll have the pedal between the metal, as they say, as he heads into turn 1. That Williams looks a lot better hooked up than it did on the formation lap, and he seems a lot more comfortable with the conditions on the car, as Jamie is moved down a position. Techno Thrill is now up to 4th place. What a comeback drive this has been so far with the damaged car.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant drive by him, isn't it? So already we're only on lap 7 of the race, and yeah, he's already up into 4th place. He'll probably kick himself inside that helmet, Techno, because, you know, as we say, he did lead into turn 1. I believe it was his own downfall, the incident. I don't think he had any contact with anybody as far as I could see. But yeah, all he can do now is put that behind him and make amends. And now he's got Razor in the McLaren Honda ahead of him. And yeah, he's got a bit of clear track now, so we can absolutely push and close down those Podium boys. And yeah, you can still get a good result out of this race.
Yeah, definitely, as Gaza has fallen down the order. What's happened to the Red Bull driver? Not too sure, currently in 16th place. He was hoping for a good result here today, but doesn't look like he's going to be able to achieve it from where he is now. Maverick, his teammate, in 15th, so it's not been a very good as he goes wide. Not been a very good second half of the season. Boogster's in the pit, so our leaders come in. He's decided it's time for a fresh set of intermediate tyres, and yeah, that's it. I didn't see that one coming, Jono.
Yeah, it seems pretty early, doesn't it? You know, brand new fresh inters obviously from the start of the race, and he's only gone 7 laps on them. He's pitted at the end of lap 7, so yeah, he didn't take those very far at all. He's probably got a better idea of what the weather's going to do than we have. So yeah, only time will tell whether that was a smart move or not. At least he's come out with a bit of clear air ahead of him anyway, so he can utilise those fresh tyres now. And yeah, he's got a little bit of a gap between himself and Jamie, so 3 seconds or so. So it'll be interesting to see now just how quick he can go on those, and what the weather's going to do. Is it going to hang on raining, or is it going to start drying up?
Well, if it's going to dry up, DRS is enabled, so the game obviously thinks that perhaps that's a wrong decision from Boogster. I was just going to say that if the rain was just going to stop for the final third of the race, and you knew your into tyres that you started on weren't going to make it, then you might as well make a pit stop earlier rather than later, just to get the most undercut that you can get, as long as they last, obviously, to when it stops raining. But it appears that the game think it's getting close to the crossover point, but on my screen, riding on board, it definitely does not look like I'd be one of having DRS open going side by side with that amount of spray, and the raindrops still coming down. Emphatic's moved up a position ahead of Jonas, who set another fastest lap. Ols and Gaza have pitted and come onto the soft tyre. And Stifler's in the pits now. Let's find out exactly what he's going to put on here.
This is really interesting with, as you mentioned, the Boogster pit in there for the inters, and others coming in for the softs. Jamie in as well. So it looks like they do think it's time, but it's still actually raining, you know, reasonably heavily on my screen. So I'm a bit confused about what's going on here at the moment with these strategies.
Yeah, Stifler's fitted the medium tyre, Jono, so he's obviously planning to go to the end on those ones.
I'm going to ride on board with Ols and to see what the conditions are like and how he manages on the dries. He's certainly not sliding off the road, so he's making them work. How quick he's going, it's hard to tell until we see some flying lap times from these drivers. But yeah, this really is make or break for the Boogster with that decision to pit for the Inter.
Yeah, the Bookster currently in second position. Stifler is only 4.5 behind, so I'll keep an eye on that gap. He's just taken half a second out already. This could possibly, no, he's taken another 10th out. This could cost Bookster the lead, that decision. Perhaps his mechanics just fitted the wrong tyre or something like that. But we're seeing quite a few drivers come in now. Kian's fitted the mediums, Emphatic's fitted the mediums, Lukey's in the pits now. Jamie and Techno Thriller both fitted the mediums. Matt chose the soft. So a range of compounds here. There'll either be one or two stopping it from here. Yellow flags.
Stifler on the mediums, spun out of the hairpin and hit the wall. He just lit the rear tyres up. He had no traction. It looked like he was being relatively careful on the throttle, but the rear's just lit up and sent him into the wall, and that's bad wing damage for Stifler. And that move for the mediums. Perhaps it's still right on the crossover period, and yeah, he'll have to pit again this lap, and that'll send him right down the field.
Yeah, definitely. So a mistake there from Stifler. He looked in prime position there, and he's absolutely thrown the towel in at the hairpin there. But Bookster will be breathing a bit of air after that one. What's Razart going to do? Razart's in. Razart's in the pits, so he's leading this race at the moment. He's in the pits. What's the Bookster going to do? Is he going to follow Razart in, or is he going to? No, he stayed out. So Jamie's just got ahead of Green Finn on the dry tyres. So perhaps that's just a sign of things to come with these drivers who pitted for the dry tyre. There's a proper mixture into softs and mediums. It's there's no right way according to these, and just to make Stifler's lap even worse, he's just got a speeding penalty. So that's not too good for him. Spider Atlas now on the inters, Jamie on the mediums, and we're about to see them tango into lap 10 out of 27 now. The rain looks to have stopped on my screen, so what's Bookster going to do? He's only got a 13-second lead.
Yeah, he's struggling. I'm on board with him. He's struggling for traction and turning. He's gone too far on these, and his gap coming down so quickly. Razor already down to 12.9 now. It's absolutely dropping. He's gone on, I think, just because of the frustration of probably pitting for the wrong tyres. Whether it was a team's decision or his, it was the wrong choice. I think he should have just bailed there straight away and just put that down to a bad thing and carried on. But he tried to extend the stint, but it's not working for him. He's now down to 11.6, and yeah, he's going to find Razor, you know, way ahead of him once he pits again now for another set of dry tyres.
And that Razor's going to lead this race, Jono. So Razor will absolutely lead this race.
And Jamie in second.
Yeah, Jamie will be in second. It looks like Techno Thriller will somehow find his way on the podium, as he just passed Spider Atlas for 4th position. So Spider Atlas yet to come in, also on the Inter. So you expect himself and the Bookster to bail this lap, get some dry tyres on. If they fit the mediums, you'll be able to go to the end. Softs are going to be marginal. Super softs will definitely mean another stop. But yeah, some interesting strategy calls here that some drivers, it's won them a lot of points. Some drivers like Bookster, it seemed to cost him a lot of points. He's in the pits.
Oh yeah, the Bookster, he must be so frustrated right now. He's doing everything right. He had that, like you said, he was just minding his own business there in the lead, and he's had to bring it in now for a second time. He's put on the medium, so he will be going to the end now. The interesting thing is, as Razak takes the lead, how far can he go on those soft tyres? How long can he make them last? Obviously, with these cool, slightly damp conditions, the tyre wear will be lower than it would be in normal, hot, dry conditions. But yeah, what sort of lead can he bring? And yeah, if he has to pit again, where will that leave him? As all the runners behind him, 2nd, 3rd and 4th there on the medium tyre, so Razak will be vulnerable if he does have to pit again.
Yeah, definitely. He might be quicker at this stage in the race. We'll have to see. But we've got the Bookster's come out in 4th position, so he didn't lose too many places, but he's got a job to do. He will have the freshest tyres, of course. Spider Atlas is going to come out in 10th position, so he's fallen way down the order from that late call to come in. Where's Kian in 6th position, so not too far away. 3 seconds behind Matty Daddy for 5th. So this is all to play for here, as Techno Thriller now hounds in Jamie for 2nd place, and Techno Thriller could be finding himself back on the top 2 as we head into this is lap 11, so plenty to go in this race, Jono, here in Japan, and these podium guys providing us another ecstatic battle, perhaps not side by side, but with their choices of tyres and when to come in.
Yeah, there might not be lots of side-by-side battles, which you don't often get here, but there's definitely plenty of strategy and plenty of battles to watch. And Techno Thriller is, you know, he's put himself into a good position to actually win this race again now, with only Jamie and Razak ahead of him, and obviously Razak perhaps having to pit again. So there's lag there on my screen as well between Jamie and Techno Thriller. But Yeah, he's sets the fastest lap as well at 38.6, so he's absolutely on a charge. And as
Matt,
Jay
your daddy.
takes the lead, has Razor pitted?
What's happened to Razor? I can't actually see him. He's down in 14th
He's
place.
14th.
What has happened there?
Yeah, something's happened that we haven't seen, and he's lost so much time.
He's lost so much time.
Sure
Matt, your daddy also spun it on 130R, and he was trying to reverse, get back going, but he's also coming to pits now. He'll need a new front wing, so he was running in 5th position.
Razor's back in the league.
Razor's back in the league, so perhaps some timing issues there. But yeah, that's as we're seeing Jonas tap the back of Spider Atlas for 10th position. Jonas, the only driver to select super soft tyre at this stage of the race, so he obviously feels he wants a quick stint on the freshest and most quickest but least most durable tyre, I should say. But yeah, he's in the barrier, so that looked like lag to me, Jono. That looked exactly like lag. He's facing the wrong way now as well, so he's going to struggle to get back up, turn the fuel down to lean, and slowly hit the acceleration, and that's cost him dearly.
Yeah, there is a lot of lag at the moment for me. I'm on board with Techno Thriller, and his car is just leaping everywhere and going straight on at corners and then warping back onto the track. So yeah, there's a lot of lag at the moment, and that's really making it really difficult for the drivers, although as if it wasn't difficult enough, but as Razor actually sets the fastest lap of the race on that soft tyre.
He's obviously feeling comfortable, Jono, on that soft tyre, and the Bugster's just come and slapped in an even quicker one on the slower compound. Of course, he will have the freshest tyres, so he is actually chasing down and closing in on Techno Thriller. Excuse me.
Yeah, Techno Thriller, he's shown is in 14th position as well, so definitely got some timing issues and some desync issues or something at the moment. But yeah, Razor, we'll keep an eye on that gap to Jamie. It's about 5 seconds at the moment. He should have the advantage at the moment on that soft tyre, but that will then switch over to the medium. And Jamie looking good on the mediums at the moment as well. He's driving consistently, and he'll be absolutely hoping. Razor and Jamie, we don't often see right here at the front of the field. They will be absolutely hoping to capitalise on this as much as they possibly can, and they've, you have to say, both driven great races so far.
Yeah, they definitely have, and they deserve exactly where they're sitting. Right now, we've got yellow flags. Empatix retired from the session from 8th place. He's binned it. That's coming up the hill, Jono, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Is that going to be a safety car? I don't know. Yeah, that's definitely coming up the hill after the yeses. So yeah, that's a tricky corner.
Yeah, that Dunlop curve is so tricky. He's probably got a wheel there out on the outside of the circuit, and yeah, only 3 wheels on his wagon now. Doesn't look like we're getting any safety car at the moment, but yeah, yellow flags in sector 1, and yeah, he made it to lap 14, so he made it through the worst of the conditions. But yeah, the track has caught him out somewhere on the line, and he's out of the race.
Yeah, Technothriller's dropped back a little bit from Jamie. Now to around the 1.5-2 second. Look at Bookster, he's closing in on Techno Thriller, and Kian is sitting there 6 seconds further behind. So the 3 of our championship contenders, 3rd, 4th and 5th at the moment. Emphatix left the session. He says, I've had enough of that one, and that's him out of the race. But his teammate the Bookster currently in 4th. What can he do from there? Can he recover from, you know, he was leading this race comfortably, and now it's Razor's turn to have a similar gap to what the Bookster had before the race, and yeah, a little bit difficult there for some of these drivers with the lag, Jono, but they just got to make the most of it in this situation. Jonas is all over the back of Gaza by 0.6 of a second, so what can he do? He's come in, and 13th place, unlucky for some, but yeah, Razor leads this race. Jamie is in 2nd, and Techno Thriller has closed to Jamie now, so here we go as we head down the back straight. 2nd, 3rd and 4th very close.
Yeah, and Techno Thriller will want to get this done quickly if he possibly can, because the Bookster is closing him in, and we've seen him set fastest laps the last couple of laps, so we know he's absolutely a man on a mission. He looks quicker in the wet, and he is also now in the dry, as yeah, Techno now in prime overtaking position. Yeah, Jamie went wide. He's got a bad exit here, and Techno will get a good run on the inside. He opens DRS. He's gaining a very little bit, but he has got the inside line. As long as he picks his braking point now, Jamie will have no option but to let him go. and he does so. He stops him behind, and yeah, Jamie didn't lose much time there either. So a good overtake there from Techno Thriller due to that little error from Jamie on the exit of the chicane. And next up, can the Bookster get by just as quickly, and then chase down Techno Thriller, and yeah, crucial for the championship battle as well. So plenty to play for here.
Yeah, it'd be fascinating to see these two battle, obviously both on the medium tyre, but let's just run through. We can see Razor, Technothriller and Jamie have all stopped once. The Bookster, Kian and Stifler have stopped twice. Greenfin and Spider Atlas have stopped once. Ols, Matt Your Daddy, Lukey and Maverick have all stopped twice. And then you've got Gaza, Jonas and Cobblers who have stopped 3 times. So a few different strategies there, but it seems to me the guys that have stopped once are pretty much near the front, especially the top 3, so the least stops you've done, the higher you've sitting in the standings at the moment. But we're just seeing Jonas get the job done on Gaza, so Jonas up a position into 12th now, and he can set about chasing the Ferraris.
Jamie here.
This is a difficult
He's
place.
lining it up on the inside. Oh yeah, he thought twice about that, as you mentioned. Very difficult place there. And that did cost him a lot of time as well. I think he'd have perhaps been better to back out of that a little bit earlier, and definitely cost him time. And Jamie gets a better exit this time as well, so it looks like he'll be safe for, well, at least for now.
Yeah, definitely, and Kian's closed that gap to 4 seconds now, so he's only 4 seconds behind the Bookster, and perhaps he's about to join this fight as well. And I'm fascinated to see how these 3 guys, we spoke about them before the race, about potentially winning this race, and they've all had to, you know, they've all made mistakes, be it their own or someone else's fault, but they haven't made it easy for themselves, and it looks like they're going to be fighting for possibly the win, but definitely podiums here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. They were all a bit further down the field early on, obviously the Bookster leading, but obviously the issues with the other drivers, but they've all made their way back into their sort of standard places there towards the front of the grid. And yeah, it's I'm just going to watch the Bookster here, because you can see Techno Thriller just gapping him very slightly now, and he'll be just desperate to get by Jamie, but Jamie driving well and hitting all his apexes, and the Bookster's got absolutely nowhere to make a move at the moment. We mentioned it difficult to overtake, and yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he can get a good exit from Spoon Curve again this time. And he does hit the apex and decent exit there, runs out to the curve, but Jamie does the same. So yeah, nowhere to go for the Bookster at the moment.
As you saw last lap, you don't want to catch the guy in front too close, because 130R isn't the best place to go side by side, especially not in these slippery conditions. The track will still be a little bit damp, but Bookster looks close this time. If he can nail his exit on the chicane, he should get DRS. That should help him into turn 1, but you can't take anything away from Jamie's defensive driving today. He's doing exactly what he needs to do, and if he does feel he makes a mistake, here goes Bookster into turn 1. Can he do it on the inside? Oh, there looks to be contact. That looked to me like there was a bit of lag there. Someone went in the air on my screen. Jamie's off, and oh, that's devastating. Right wing damage. Kian goes through as well, currently in 5th position, so those tyres also look a little bit dusty. Devastating. That looked to be lag there, and he went up in the air.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and get confirmation of that, but oh, that's so frustrating to put on such a great drive tonight, Jono. He's retiring at the end of the season, and you know, he wanted a podium so desperately, and it looks like he's going to have to wait another round to try and make that dream come true.
You have to say, well, certainly from what I can see, he was so unlucky there, and he's got to do a whole lap of this circuit now with this damaged front wing as well, losing so much time as the Renault now, Stifler now comes up to get by him. But yeah, I think he did nothing wrong there. I mean, the Bookster looked to be clear down the inside. It looked like Jamie, as you said, was defending sensibly. He just stayed to the outside as he did previously with Techno Thriller. And yeah, there just seemed to be a sudden burst of lag. I was on board with the Bookster, and there's just a burst of lag, and then Jamie ends up going through the gravel. So I think probably neither driver to blame there for that one, other than the game itself. And but Jamie is going to be so frustrated, and we know how desperately he wants a good result, and he was on for one there, and yeah, it's all gone wrong. And by the look of it, due to no fault of his own.
Yes, bitterly disappointing, but you know, that's racing, and sometimes that happens. Keane sets the fastest lap of the race. Stifler now back up to a top 5 after his mistake earlier on. So it seems to me, Jono, that you know, a lot of the drivers in the top 10, they've had to fight back for it, and they've been guilty of making mistakes, and they've had to, you know, they've made it difficult for themselves to to come back through the field, but Jamie's coming to the pits now, so he'll get a new front wing. Looks like he's fitting the soft tyre. Yes, he has indeed, and he'll get underway, and we'll keep an eye on him and see how he can get on. But he looks like his, a point scoring position here is definitely still going to be on, Jono. And if he can pump in some competitive lap times in the final 10 laps of this race, as he's comes from being unpaused, then he's definitely got some points to grab. That's for sure.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a few drivers, within attacking distance ahead of him. We know he's on obviously the fresh softs now. We know he's got good pace. He was in that position legitimately before that. So yeah, he'll be definitely looking to attack now. He's got no other option but to go for it now. As Razor now coming under huge pressure on Technothriller, who actually looks standing inside to 130 yards we saw before, but he thinks better of it. Razor looking to struggle now possibly on those softs. And you have to say, is he going to be regretting now not fitting that medium tyre, seeing the drivers behind him on it, and knowing that it could cost him. It could possibly even cost him a win here, but he's definitely struggling now compared with the medium runner of Technothriller, who now moves to the inside, DRS open, and looks like he's just had much more traction out of the chicane there, and it's an easy job done for him there as he swings it into turn 1. And Razor now will all be about tyre management as the boots are now next up to make a move. And yeah, what do you think, Nick? Is he regretting not fitting the mediums?
Yeah, I think it's difficult, when you perhaps if you don't have the pace, not the quickest on the track, then it's the safer bet would have been to fit the slowest tyre and try and take it to the end of the race. And being a track like this, it's so hard to overtake. And he has done a good job defending earlier against Technothriller, so we know he can do it, and he goes slightly wide there, and that's going to give Boogster the chance. Boogster's touched him on the grass, and he's sliding. And I've never seen a pass done like that before. He drifted across the hairpin, and it has to be said, Jono, he needs to give that position up.
He needs to give back the position. Yeah, he needs to give that back. That is not a legit overtake in a million years, and he definitely needs to give that place back, or he'll definitely be under the eye of the stewards come the end of the race. Looks like he's going to continue though. He's not interested in letting him back through. He must surely realise that was totally unfair.
Razor didn't do anything wrong there, in my opinion. He perhaps got a bit of a bad exit, but he's entitled to pick his line. And I know if you stay to the middle of the track, it's very difficult to try and get your car into the hairpin either side of the car in front if they just stay in the middle. But that is unfair driving. Yeah, he comes in, but that's unfair in my opinion. But we'll keep that debate for the rest of the race. And Boogster, he's only got one thing in his mind, and that's winning this race.
Yeah, it is. He had nowhere to go there into the hairpin. He reached the back of Razor's car, and instead of thinking, well, there's no way by, he just drove straight into him from what I could see, and then got the car into a bit of a tank slap and went across the grass. But as you say, he's through nonetheless, and now 2.6 second gap to Technothriller, so now both in clear air. We can now see just what pace he can unleash from the car, and if he can close that gap down.
Yeah, also Kian 1.4 behind, so 1.3, so he obviously feels that, look at these guys, from Kian's view, you can see the two cars in front, they're all going to be sharing the same bit of tarmac. How long for? We're just seeing Greenfin come into the pit. I was just commenting earlier on how well he was driving today and how he wanted a good result. He's going to fit a set of supers and go to the end, and that'll be a push for him, final push for him to get those ones to the end of the race, and he'll be flying for the final 7 laps.
Yeah, well, we've got a few drivers now who've hit it again for the super soft, so they will be rapid now in the latter stages of the race. Interesting race up, resume the track in 4th, so and on the super soft tyre, so if he keeps it incident free, he should be able to bring it home, you'd think, in 4th position from there. And the Boogster already brought that gap down to 2.1, so he set a good lap time there, and yeah, it's hotting up between those two.
Yeah, just to mention, Stifler's left the session, so we're not sure if he can get back in or not. But he's currently in 5th position, and his computer's driving around the track on 75 AI. Cobblers is behind, so that isn't someone who's going to take some points off him. His teammate is directly behind, 7 seconds, so if someone's going to take some points off him, it will be his teammate. Jamie is a couple seconds further back, flying on those soft tyres. He'll be going to the end of the race. Then you've got Matt Your Daddy on the mediums, Ols and Greenfin, the 2 Haas drivers on the super soft, so expect to see some quick times from them. Stifler comes in, so his computer decides that his tyres aren't going to go the distance, and he's now coming in for a set of supers. That's going to move everyone up the order, and we're going to see some quick lap times in these final few laps. He's come back into the center. He'll be going, well, first of all, he's taking his penalty. Now they're changing his tyres, and they're going, what happened there? I was on the soft when I disconnected.
Yeah, he's in for a bit of a shock now that he's rejoined the session. That's moved Jamie obviously up into 6th position. He's now chasing down Spider, who's on the mediums. So he's
closing as well.
Yeah, he is. He's closing on him quite quickly. So Jamie's still in with a chance for a top 5 position here, despite obviously that damage that he suffered earlier.
Yeah, yellow flags in sector 3. Not sure what that's for. Jamie is closing on Spider, so that'll be an interesting battle. We've got Matt, your daddy, who's going to have to hold off the 2 Haas drivers. Olsa's going to be the first driver to attack him, but that'll be interesting. Looking forward to that one. Both Haas drivers look to be set for a double point scoring position, but there's plenty of laps to go here. Anything can happen in Japan. It all changed so quickly at the start. It all changed so quickly when it stopped raining, and will it change again? The gap seemed to be a little bit stable by the front 3, but Razor on for his best result of the season. Jamie looking for a top 5, and the Haas driver's looking for a double point scoring position. Stifler is back in his car now, so he'll be with his pace pushing through the field as well.
Yeah, Stifler be looking to make up some of those positions that he just lost. He has got a few drivers in front of him, so he'll be able to push now on those super soft tyres that the computer decided to give him. As like you say, the gap has stabilised out the front. The Bookster did make inroads initially. Maybe Techno was just driving within himself, and they're now pretty much trading lap times, although he's still bringing down a couple of tenths a lap. So yeah, but not many laps to go now. Lap 22 of 27. So yeah, not very long left to get the job done if he's going to go for it.
Yeah, Techno Thriller, just to give you guys a quick update, he will be on 205 points if he stays in the position that he's in. If the Bookster finishes is in 2nd place, he will be on 173, and if Kian finishes in 3rd place, that'll move him up. This is a quick test on my map, 192. So getting ever so close. Lemaine will move down again after not attending today's race, and Dweller will be sitting there thinking it's going to be difficult for me to... Techno Thriller's made a mistake at the exit turn 1. He spun it. Bookster goes through and hits him. As you get wing damage from that? No, he seems to survive. Kian's got through as well. So, just as I was giving you a championship standing update, Techno Thriller bins it on the exit of turn 1. He doesn't appear to have any damage. Perhaps a little bit right end plate. But he spun it again.
He lost it again.
He can't get it going again.
Oh, he's damaged his wing this time as well.
Here comes Razor.
He was just too eager there to get on the throttle with the dirt on the tyres. And we've mentioned before, it's so tricky. And yeah, Razor now charging. He'll surely have a run on him here. He's on the super soft tyres as well, and with no wing damage. Oh, he nearly runs into the back of him there. But he does make the move. And that moves Razor back into a podium position at the moment, 3rd. And Techno surely, looking at that wing damage, will he have to stop again, or will he try and make that work now for the last 5 laps? I
imagine he'll try and make that work, only because there's a big gap to behind, 40 seconds to be precise. But there is understeer, and look at Stifler sets the fastest lap, so he's pushing, and Jamie's 0.3 of a second behind Spider Atlas here, so this one's going to get interesting as well. This is for a top 5 finish. Both will wanting to be finishing in the top 5 today, and Jono, I'll let you take over. I want to quickly go and check Razor's stats, because I want to see how many podiums he's had. This could be increasing that number today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to stay on board with Jamie as he's lining up Spider here. He gets a wide line into the hairpin. Not necessarily bad. You can also get a good exit by running that wide line through there. He's within attacker distance, but at the moment it doesn't look like he's got the straight line speed to make a move. So I'll be hoping he can force the Renault driver into an error. But Techno Thriller there, that's perhaps 2 driver errors into that first corner we've seen in this race. One on the opening lap, and then again there, that's dropped him out of the lead for the 2nd time in this race.
He's coming to the pits.
Is he coming to the pits?
He's coming to the pits. He's lost a lot of time in that lap, and he might even lose a position here. If he does, it'll be 2 positions, because the guys behind are so close. I think he will lose 2 positions. So this is going to be interesting where he comes out, and he'll be now closing these guys down. in the final stint of this race. But Techno Thriller is just coming to the exit of the pit now. He's going to be close to even catch Jamie, who's suddenly, you know, we thought it was all over, and he's in fourth. Yeah, he's in fourth, so he's overtaken Spider Atlas, and that's another position up, and fantastic comeback from him. And perhaps we haven't seen the end of this race. Lukey just got past Jonas. Now Jonas is all over the back of Lukey again. These two are going side by side as they come to the final chicane. Lukey just manages to stay ahead. Jonas has to take to the curb, as now we're seeing the Force India of the Bookster come past to lap them. That'll be one lap they have to complete. Lap 25 out of 27, Jono. It's all kicking off. Stifler's now closing in on Matt Your Daddy, who just touched the grass, and he's on fresh tyres. He's absolutely hounding him in.
Yeah, he absolutely is, and keep an eye on Kian as well. 1.3 seconds now off the Bookster as Lukey runs off circuit, and Jonas makes his way through, and so does some other cars as Kian goes through there as well, I can see. And yeah, 1.1 seconds behind the Bookster. So Kian, who in the first half of the race we were saying perhaps wasn't making the progress he'd have been hoping after that contact on the opening lap, but he finds himself in second place now, within a real shot of winning this race.
Amazing racing here. I don't think we've had a Japan race which has been as exciting as this one. Stifler's got a good exit here on Matt Your Daddy. I'm going to follow this one as they head down into 130R. Yellow flags in sector 2. Not too sure exactly what that's for, but Stifler in the Renault versus Matt Your Daddy in the Ferrari. He didn't give himself much hope of a good result tonight, but he's doing a solid job in 8th place at the moment. But Stifler, he's just got those quicker tyres. This job's going to be done before they get to turn 1, surely.
Yeah, I would think so, with tyre advantage as well.
Inside into turn 1, it's the best place to be. Come the braking zone, and that's job done. Stifler's up to 8th, and Ols is up to 7th position now. Greenfin's in 10th, so they're still set for a double point scoring position. And not biased at all, but I'd be happy to see them both score points here today as they chase down some of the constructors in ahead of him in the standings. But Kian, 1.2 seconds now. Can he close that gap to within DRS? This is penultimate lap of round 16 in Japan. This is the podium tier, Jono. And what do you reckon? 1.1, is he going to be able to sling something down the inside?
Yeah, it's difficult to know. He's got down to 1.1. It's now stayed a bit more static at that. Drivers seem to get within that sort of range, and I think perhaps they lose a bit of downforce in the high-speed corners, and they struggle to close that last bit of gap in. Techno Thriller is definitely worth keeping an eye on as well as he closes up onto Spider Altis. He's on this obviously super softs against the mediums, and I think he'll be definitely able to make a move, perhaps even into the final chicane here. I'm going to ride on board and see what happens. And there's a lot of lag, and Techno has to back out of it.
Looked like wing damage to me.
Yeah, possibly so. There's suddenly a big burst of lag on my screen. And he does move to the inside though, he gets a better exit, and that should be job done. So Techno perhaps rescuing 5th position from this.
Yeah, Techno Thriller made a couple mistakes here today. We don't know what happened on lap 1, but we definitely know what happened in the final few laps of the race, where he went wide at turn 1, spun it again, had to come in, and now he's sitting in 5th position rather than leading this race. But Bookster doesn't mind, he's inherited the lead. Kian is a second further back. They're just about to start their final lap of the race, and Kian can absolutely smell this, but I just don't know if he's going to get a look at it, as we're seeing some lag as well. 0.8 of a second. Is DRS open? No, it isn't, and Kian doesn't have the best fuel situation either. It is active.
Yeah.
Okay, perhaps it was open as he closes in on turn 1. He's going to follow him through the S's. Surely into the chicane is going to be his only chance here, Jono.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the chicane. Yeah, he's not going to be close enough for the hairpin, I don't think, unless the Bookster makes an error. So yeah, perhaps that final chicane will be his only chance. But yeah, he's in the dirty air situation now as well. You can see he's absolutely pushing though, the body language of the car. He's been really aggressive everywhere as he has to be. He's in for a shot of the lead of the race here, and he's up against a championship rival, so he'll be hoping just for one chance is what you want, just one shot at making the move. But I think at the moment, unless he can pull something miraculous off, he isn't going to quite have enough as we're on the final lap of the race.
And if it's such a story to tell as well, because all these drivers have, you know, they've come back after making mistakes or errors or putting the wrong tyre or strategy. You look at the Bookster, you know, we didn't think he'd win this race after that mistake. Look at Kian off at turn 1, first lap with his team after contact with his teammate Razor. You know, he selected the wrong tyre. Suddenly he's back up to third. Jamie made a mistake. He's back up to fourth. Here we go, though. I don't think this is going to be enough. I think this is job done here from the Bookster as they're catching up some back markers. It's over a second, and Kian's going to have to settle for second position here. The Bookster is going to move up to 180 points. Here he wins round 16. Kian comes home in second place to take the championship lead as they head to the next round, round 17. Razor, he's coming through the long back straight.
Is in the gravel, sorry. He's returned to the circuit, but he's now got the Renault of Spider Alters right back on him.
Yeah, he likes the gravel today, that's for sure, Jono. Here comes Razor.
Yeah, he does indeed.
Exits the last corner. This is going to be his 12th career podium at F1 TS Hubs. First of season 10. Congratulations to him. He'll be jumping for joy in his F1 TS Hub t-shirt. So well done. Here comes Jamie, currently in 4th position. This will be equal his 4th time he's finished, I believe, 4th. And ever so close to a podium today. But wasn't meant to be. He shouldn't take any disheart from that drive though, Jono.
Well, yeah, he drove a great race. And,
he's weaving,
yeah,
he's happy.
He is happy. I think he pushed hard, he drove well. You have to say the incident didn't look like it was either driver's fault. But, and yeah, I think he'd be pretty delighted actually to escape that with 4th position in the end. You have to say great drives from Razor and Jamie there to capitalise on the lap 1 carnage, but also to maintain that position throughout 27 laps of this race, and thoroughly deserved.
Oh, Greenfin versus Matt Your Daddy, and oh, who's come out on top? Greenfin stolen the position by about half a tenth of a second as they crossed the line. What a manoeuvre. I believe that happened down into the chicane, so well done to Greenfin. I just caught the end of that one. Ols, his teammate, finished in 7th. Spider Atlas finished in 6th. And Jono, the top 2, are they going to stay there? I imagine there'll be something in the steward's office about that move Bookster did on Razor.
Yeah, you have to say that, certainly from my view of that, the Bookster is in, he's definitely in danger of a penalty from the stewards. It definitely looked to us, I think we both said instantly that we thought he should have returned the position there. And yeah, he could pay the price for that, but we'll see what the stewards make of it when they see all the footage, yeah, over the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to get a taste of champagne, whatever happens, though. So there we are, your top 3 in today's race. Razor hasn't finished on the podium in over a whole season, so that just shows you probably how much that means to the Netherlands driver today. So congratulations to Razor and congratulations to these 3. And we'll bring you the full confirmation of results in just a second. Bookster wins the race after making perhaps the wrong choice of strategy when it stopped raining. Kian made contact with his teammate at the start, recovers to 2nd place. Possibly he's going to get that win. Razor finishes in 3rd. Jamie recovers to 4th. Techno Thriller, a couple mistakes today, Jono, and he's got the fastest lap of the race, but he's sitting in 5th position. Spider Atlas is in 6th. Ols is in 7th. 8th will be Stifler. 9th is Greenfin, so a double points haul for Haas. Congratulations to both of them. Matt Your Daddy finishes in 10th, just behind Greenfin. Jonas finishes in 11th. Gazer in 12th. Luki in 13th. We've got a Toro Rosso, that'll be Cobblers in 14th, Maverick in 15th. The Force India, that will be Emphatix in 16th, and then Kev in 17th. The final 2 DNF'd. And we've got a few penalties here as well, Jono, so we'll just run through. Maverick got a few, Cobblers got 1, Gaza got 1, Jonas got a few, and out of the top half of the field we can see that Techno Thriller got 1, and the Renault of Stifler got 1. So there you are. That's today's result, Jono.
Yeah, you have to say, thrilling race and some great drives from a lot of the field there. After the lap 1 carnage, there was a lot of great drives, and I think it was fair to say it was a excellent race. I totally enjoyed it.
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed it as well, and make sure you check exactly what happens on Media Day next week, because the championship standings will be updated, and we don't know the result exactly, this provisional results. Obviously, the steward's office is open, so all the podium drivers are welcome to head over there and bring any incidents to the stewards. Jono, that's it for the podium tier for another week, and we got the Pinnacle one coming up at 9 PM. But what another performance these podium drivers have put on for us tonight.
Yeah, they never disappoint, do they? You turn up every week thinking surely that can't be as good as last week. This week can't be as good as last week, but they prove us wrong every time, and they deliver great race after great race, and this one was no different. And yeah, I'm already thinking roll on next week.
Exactly, Igbo put it in the live stream. Exactly, I never enjoyed Suzuka like this, and I can totally agree with that one. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe. As you mentioned earlier, we're trying to get closer and closer to 100. Follow us on Twitter at F1TS Hub. And if you like what you see and you want to join up to the waiting list, we do only have a few 4 races in this tier left to go this season, but hopefully there will be news on season 11 shortly. But regardless, www.f1tshub.com, you can check out everything you need to see on there. Thank you for joining me again, Jono, and we will see you guys shortly for the Pinnacle tier at 9 PM, and for the Podium tier, we'll see you next week.